A seemingly perfect marriage is just a facade hiding a dark truth. Sarah, the beautiful and seductive wife, lived in a world of lies, secret meetings, and long nights without her husband, Michael. When everything seemed calm, an undeniable truth surfaced: betrayal. When Michael discovers it, everything changes forever. How will he face the woman who betrayed his family? The questions remain unanswered, and only when the story unfolds will all the truths be revealed. Keep watching to see how a chilling revenge takes shape. Before continuing the story, tell me which city you are watching from. I want to know how far this video has come. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so I can send you exciting stories like this every day. Sarah parked in her driveway and hit the button to open her garage door. She pulled inside as usual, only to find her husband's truck missing from the garage. Perhaps he took the kids out for dinner, she thought. She smiled at the idea of Michael taking care of the kids for a change, since she often felt as though she was taking care of 3 children, not just 2. She got out of her car and went in the house. It was already dark outside, and the interior of the house she shared with her husband and 2 children seemed eerily quiet, without the lights and the noise of video games blaring from their large-screen television. She recalled what she had done earlier that evening with her lover Ryan, and felt just a bit guilty. But only for a moment. Looking around the dark, quiet house, she wondered if this would be her fate if Michael decided to finally end their marriage. After thinking a bit, she laughed and headed upstairs. No, she thought, if Michael was going to take action, he would have done it by now. She had been seeing Ryan for 8 months now, and Michael had bought all her excuses, no questions asked. At first, she only visited him 1 or 2 days a week. But lately she had been at his house for up to 4 evenings a week, including Fridays, while making up excuses for Michael. Michael never questioned her, even though she was very sure he knew what she was doing. He never even questioned her when she lied and told him she had a weekend conference in New York a month or so ago. The truth was, she had spent that weekend with Ryan, in New York of course. Ryan was the one who had a conference to attend. She was his +1 for the weekend, and now they were planning to spend a whole week on a cruise together. All they had to do was come up with a reason that Michael would believe. Once upstairs, she undressed and slipped into the shower. She wanted to be as fresh as possible for her husband when he came back with the kids. She wanted to be clean for Michael, just in case he wanted to make out. Of course, he hadn't made any advances toward her lately, so she didn't expect he would tonight. Still, she thought, one never knows. She slid under the covers and fell asleep quickly. The next morning she awoke, expecting to see her husband next to her, but he wasn't there and his side of the bed didn't look like it had been disturbed. She listened, but didn't hear anything else in the house. Maybe they're outside, she thought. Please comment number 1 so that I can know that you liked the video and subscribe to our channel. Your support is a great inspiration and encouragement for us. Thank you very much. She got up, threw on a robe, and looked around the house, but there was nothing to indicate they were there. She looked outside, thinking maybe they were doing the yard work, but there was nothing. She ran around the house, calling out for them, but there was no answer. Frantic, she looked in the garage, but Michael's truck was still gone. After running back upstairs, she checked the closet. Michael's clothes and personal hygiene items had vanished. She ran into the kids' bedrooms and saw their things were missing as well. Had he finally left? She pulled out her phone and tried calling Michael, but got a message saying the number she called is no longer in service. God, no, she cried. She called his parents in Southern California, hoping they might know what happened. Mom, it's me, Sarah, she said when Michael's mother answered the phone. Have you heard from Michael or the kids lately? No, I haven't, Sarah Nancy, Michael's mother said. Is everything all right? No, Sarah said. I got home late last night and they were gone. I figured he took them out to dinner, but they didn't come back home. I tried calling Michael, but I got a message saying his number is no longer in service. I don't know what to tell you, Nancy said. Maybe you should call the police and report them missing. I'll do that, thanks, she said. When she ended the call, she went into the kitchen to get a cup of coffee. That's when she saw it, an envelope sitting next to the coffee pot. Michael's ring was sitting on top of the envelope. Scared, she opened the envelope and pulled out a sheet of paper, a typed note from Michael. She sat down with a cup of coffee and read the note. Sarah, the note began, in case you haven't figured it out yet, I'm gone. The kids are with me and they're fine. It's quite apparent to me that you forgot Friday was our 15th wedding anniversary. It goes without saying that you chose to spend it with Ryan Anderson rather than me, but I'm not a bit shocked. It's not the first time you've missed an important family date. Last month, you apparently forgot that it was Ethan's 13th birthday. I told him you were busy with work and couldn't get away. Of course, I know that you were really in Anderson's bed. You did the same thing with Emma's birthday 3 months ago. Please pause for 2 seconds. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support is a great inspiration and encouragement for us. Thank you very much. And you remember when Ethan got hurt playing football at school 2 months ago? That's right. You couldn't be bothered to look after him because you were off with Anderson. The school told me they tried to reach you, but were told you were in a meeting. Imagine my surprise when the PI told me that you and Anderson were actually doing the horizontal mambo at the Hilton that afternoon. Yes, I've known about your ongoing affair with Anderson for a while now, and the kids know as well. I also know about that alleged conference you went to in New York. And I know about the cruise you and Anderson plan to take later this year. Don't worry, you won't need to lie to me about it anymore. Since you've decided that Anderson is more important than your family, I decided to take matters into my own hands. I had hoped you would have ended it with him and come back to being my wife and the mother of our children again. Perhaps we could have worked things out, but you chose not to. You've basically been gone for the last several months. So now it's my turn. I'm gone for good. And since you don't seem to care about the children, they're gone as well and will be staying with me. You will be served with divorce papers sometime early next week at your place of work. I am also suing Ryan for alienation of affection, since that is allowed in the state. I may not get very much, if anything at all, but it's the principle that matters. You see, I am teaching the children that bad choices have consequences. Given that you chose your lover over the children and leave them in my care 3 to 4 nights a week while you spent time with Anderson, I am asking for custody of the children, and you may be required to pay support. Since you make good money, I'm asking that no spousal support be awarded. I won't keep you from seeing the kids, although you'll have to get a passport and pay for your own travel. You see, we're moving to Australia. I accepted a promotion and will be running our company's operations there for at least the next 5 years. I had hoped to share this bit of good news with you, but as always, you chose to spend your evenings with Anderson, and I never got to celebrate my promotion with you. You will also find in my top desk drawer a signed and quit claim deed. I am leaving you with the house, and I have left you with half of our accounts. I have taken my name off everything. It's all yours now. Enjoy. By the way, if you decide to fight the divorce, you may find yourself the next internet sensation. With the quit claim deed, you will find a packet that contains some rather explicit pictures of you and Anderson together. Those are just a few of the snippets I have from the many hours of video that were taken of the two of you. I'd like to say the last 15 years have been wonderful. Unfortunately, I can't. Granted, the first 13 or so were pretty good, and I gave you all the love I could muster, but apparently it wasn't enough for you. The last year or so, you've been drifting away and rebuffed all my efforts to bring you back, offering only flimsy excuses for your ongoing absences. You may have noticed that I have not initiated a makeout with you for quite a while. The truth is, the thought of getting sloppy seconds from you filled me with disgust. I suspect you thought I was okay with what you were doing because I never tried to physically stop you. You know, I would never get physical with you or tell you what to do. I'm just not wired that way. But the truth is, you hurt me more than you know, and I'll never be able to get past that. You should know that in all the years we've been together, I have never once even thought about cheating on you. I was always there for you and the children. You were my first priority above everything else. You, on the other hand, have been gone to us all for the last 8 months. Now we're the ones who are gone. I hope it was worth it to you. Do not try to contact me or the kids. I will let them contact you if they choose. But I must warn you, they're not very happy with you right now. If you have anything to say to me, please do it through my attorney, whose card you will find in this envelope. Goodbye, Sarah, the letter said in conclusion. It was simply signed, Michael. With tears in her eyes, Sarah folded the letter and put it back in the envelope. She pulled out the card for Michael's attorney and set it on the table, vowing to call on Monday. She pulled out her cell and called Ryan. He answered on the second ring. He did what? Ryan roared when she told him what Michael had done. That son of a witch. You told me he was okay with what you were doing. I was pretty certain he knew. But he never once tried to stop me, she said. Now they're all gone. What do I do? She cried. You want me to come over? He asked. Please, she begged. Ryan came to the house, oblivious to the man parked just down the street in an obscure sedan. Thanks, Mom, Michael said when his mother ended the call from Sarah. You're welcome, son, she said, giving him a hug. Promise me you'll call when you get to Melbourne. I will, Mom, he told her. The children gave their grandmother one last hug, and the three of them were off to the airport. For the children, this was the beginning of a new adventure. For Michael, it was the end of a 15-year-long chapter in his life. Part of him missed Sarah, but another part of him was glad to be away from her. She had cheated him for 8 months with Anderson, and now it was over. Time to begin anew, he thought. As promised, Sarah was served divorce papers at work the following Monday. The process server made sure to announce that she was being served divorce papers on the grounds of adultery and neglect. Sarah felt her face burn with embarrassment as her coworkers looked on. Ryan Anderson was served with a lawsuit for alienation of affection. Sarah reached out to Michael's attorney, but he simply told her to either sign the papers or get her own attorney. She consulted with a few lawyers, but was told Michael's proposal was as fair as she could expect, given the circumstances. She signed the papers and returned them to Michael's attorney. Michael, meanwhile, had moved into his new condo in Melbourne, and the children loved their new surroundings, even though it took them a while to get acclimated to the area. Michael read the email from his lawyer with interest. He was glad to learn that Sarah had signed the papers, but wasn't happy about her moving Ryan into his former house. Well, he thought, it was just a matter of time before it happened. The divorce was granted quickly, since Sarah didn't object. The court ordered her to pay a small amount of child support, which she did. Michael really didn't need the extra money, so he put it into a college fund for the kids. Anderson settled with Michael's attorney out of court. That money was also placed in a college fund for the children. Over the next couple of years, Sarah sent Christmas and birthday cards to the children, along with a small letter to each of them. Through those letters, Michael learned that she had sold the house and married Ryan, who ended up cheating on her. After doing a search on the internet, Michael learned that the woman Ryan was seeing was married, and her husband didn't take too kindly to being cheated. As a result, both Ryan and the woman ended up with a .45 caliber slug in their heads, and the husband ended up in jail. Michael, of course, wasn't surprised at all. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Sarah kept promising to visit the children, but she never came. Again, Michael wasn't surprised, and it wasn't long before the kids just laughed off her promises as more smoke and mirrors. Over time, the cards and letters became less frequent, and after 3 years, stopped coming altogether. Michael, on the other hand, had met Madison, a blonde beauty who originally hailed from Adelaide. She moved to Melbourne 5 years earlier after her husband left her for another woman. The two of them dated for nearly a year before he asked her to marry him. Are you sure about this, Michael? She asked. You know I can't have kids, and that's what caused my first husband to leave. Your first husband was an it kid. I've never been more sure about anything in my life, he said. I'm madly in love with you, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I'm madly in love with you as well, Michael, she said. And I want to spend the rest of my life with you. But what about your kids? Will they accept me as their stepmother? Well, let's ask them, Michael said. The next day, Michael and Madison sat down with the kids in his condo. Guys, I've fallen in love with Madison, and I've asked her to marry me, he said. However, I'm curious in your thoughts on this. As your stepmother, will you accept her? No, Emma said, causing Madison to reel back in shock. Michael looked at his daughter, surprised. Why not? He asked. Because, Dad, Ethan said, we don't want her to be our stepmother. We want her to be our mom. Really? Madison asked. You want me to be your mother? But what about your birth mother? She gave up on us a long time ago, Emma said. So if you want to marry Dad, you'll have to be our mom. Are you willing to do that? Madison looked at Michael, shocked. Then she looked back at the kids and wrapped them in her arms. Of course, she said, tears falling down her face. I'd love to be your mom. A couple months later, Michael and Madison were married in a small outdoor ceremony. Emma stood as Madison's maid of honor, and Ethan was Michael's best man. At the end of 5 years, they all came back to the States for a short visit. Ethan had been accepted to the Air Force Academy, so they decided to take him there after a quick stop in Southern California. where Michael introduced Madison to his parents. From there, they flew to Denver, where Michael was to meet with his boss and the board of directors before going back to Australia. After they checked into the hotel, they headed to the elevator but stopped when Michael heard a familiar voice. "Michael, is that really you?" he heard a woman ask. Michael looked and saw his ex-wife Sarah coming toward them. She looked as though she had aged 20 years since the last time he saw her. She was thin and her hair showed streaks of gray. "Sarah," he asked. "Yes, it's me," she said. "Who are these people? Aren't you going to introduce me?" she asked, pointing at Madison and the kids. "You don't even recognize your own children?" Michael asked. "The ones you haven't so much as said hello to in the last couple years." "My God," she said, shocked. "You've grown so much and you look so healthy." "Well, who is this young lady?" she asked, pointing to Madison. Michael couldn't help but smile. "This is our mom," Ethan proudly said, a slight Australian accent in his voice. "Her name is Madison," Emma added. "She's our mother now." Sarah stepped back, shocked. "Your mother?" Sarah asked. "But I'm your mother." "No," Ethan said. "You gave birth to us, but you quit being our mother a long time ago. About the same time you quit being Dad's wife." Sarah looked like she was about to collapse, and an older man in a suit came up to her. "Sarah, are you all right?" he asked. She shook her head, tears falling down her cheeks. The man steadied her and helped her sit down, then looked at Michael, Madison, and the kids. "Who are you people?" he asked. "What did you do to her?" "We're just passing through," Michael said. "All we did was remind her of what she once had, but threw away." "And who are you?" "Daniel Foster," he said, extending a hand. "Sarah's fiancé." "Fiancé, huh?" Michael asked. "Well, I hope you have better luck with her than I did." "You're her first husband?" Daniel asked. "Yes," Michael said. "I see," Daniel said. "Sarah told me about you and the children." "Did she tell you what happened?" Michael asked. "She said she made the biggest mistake of her life." Daniel answered. "Yes, and it only cost her entire family," Michael said. "Like I said, good luck to you. You'll need it. Catch you later, mate." With that, Michael, Madison, and the kids went to their rooms, leaving a sobbing Sarah behind. "That was really your first wife?" Madison asked on the way up. "Yes," Michael said. "And if you ask me, I definitely traded up." "Yes, you did," she responded with a smile. "And don't you forget it." What's your opinion about OP? Thanks for joining us in our stories where revenge is served hot. Please consider subscribing to our channel to ensure your next chef remains loyal. Tune in for the next one to get your revenge appetite fulfilled. If you're below 18, hold on, it's not for the faint-hearted. The story of Michael and Sarah is not just about a broken marriage. It's a profound lesson about loyalty, respect, and the value of family love. In life, we often hear that love is priceless. But in reality, without trust and respect, love is nothing but a fragile shell, easily shattered. This is why when one of the most fundamental aspects of a relationship is violated, the consequences are unavoidable. Sarah, who seemed like the perfect wife, made a mistake when she chose betrayal over loyalty. She not only lost her husband's love, but also lost her family and the respect of the children she had raised. Michael, despite enduring lies and betrayal for months, eventually realized that he couldn't live in a relationship devoid of respect and loyalty. Everything came to light when he discovered the truth, and he made the decision to leave, taking the children with him to rebuild a new life, one without deceit. What Sarah left behind was not just painful memories, but also a lesson about never neglecting the most important values in life. Sarah's story serves as a cautionary tale that in love and family, one mistake can turn everything upside down. A person can make a mistake, but not every mistake can be forgiven. Sarah had a chance to make things right, but she chose to continue living in lies and hurt those around her. In the end, she was no longer a part of the lives of her loved ones, and all she was left with was loneliness and regret. If you've ever faced challenges in love or family, or you are seeking a valuable lesson from this story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button on our channel so you never miss the next exciting video. We will continue to bring you emotionally charged stories, profound messages, and practical life lessons. Each story is a lesson, and each video has the potential to change the way you perceive relationships and life itself. Join us as we explore more stories to understand that every decision in life has consequences, and we need to live responsibly with those around us. We're not just sharing stories about love and family, we also bring you stories about life, personal growth, and the choices we make in difficult moments. If you think this story could bring value to someone else, don't forget to share it. A small act of kindness can change someone's life. Thank you for watching and look forward to more inspiring and thought-provoking videos. We'll see you in the next one.